All right, welcome everybody. So today we're coming right back into the class. Now we got Arivia here with us. Told y'all she was a student, so now we're getting ready to see how this goes. We're just going to pick up. I'm not reviewing chapters 19 through 22 again. All right, because she's already read them on her own, and we have a lot more discussions than we do discuss about. Now I will say, check out the podcast.
Yes.
Because it's going to be more of a conversation piece. I'm going to keep focusing on the law right now for the foundations course. But if you are on our podcast, House of Instructions, right now out on iTunes and Castro FM and wherever just look for it. It's on iTunes or whatever. Just get the podcast, all right? It's out there. But check out the podcast and we'll see our conversation on there. By the time you see this conversation, I think maybe a few days have gone by.
Right.
But if you guys, keep signing up and you guys, if we get 10,000 listeners.
Yes, that would be nice.
Then we'll start doing our podcast a lot more frequently, and it'll be a lot more faster, more up to date. So right now we just building an audience.
Yes.
So, and for those who want to donate, check out the link tree in the description because we got one building, right? So this building has 4 or 5 floors?
Yeah.
About 4 or 5 floors. So we got the first building and we've got some apartments available. We have currently other diplomats living here. You got to keep the water on, the gas, the lights.
Yes.
But the conservatory is always open for class. I just don't want to use it because we don't have enough people to justify using it like that. It's a lot.
Right.
I don't want to waste electricity and stuff like that, so I could just do it right here. But when you guys come, we'll be using the conservatories.
Yes.
All right. It's up on the roof. We got an orange juicer up there. We got cappuccino machine. We got tea. We got coffee. We got snacks. Make nice little breakfast.
Yes.
Sit out there and overlook the land and kind of. It's more of a sight and sound experience up there.
Yes, it is.
So it's a beautiful space. And you guys are welcome to come. We're waiting for you.
Yes, we are.
All right. I know everybody is paying attention to current events. We'll talk about current events in our podcast. Be sure to check it out. So let's get right now into the class. Don't forget our link tree. Click it. Check out the podcast. Also donate. That's in the link tree. Everything is in our link tree.
Yes.
So check out our link tree link in the description box below. And we're going to start right here. Ezekiel chapter 22 and verse 27. This is class number 9. Sons of Israel, my people, you shall not revile your judges. So you can't speak harshly towards your judges.
Right.
Right? So you say, who is a judge? Well, they're going to be made.
Yes, they are.
And they will come out of this class. Okay? Those who are studying the law with us and who come to stay with us will be appointed judges.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
A judge is a sheikh. He is the royalty of the people of his family. He is the royal member. The whole family is royal, but he is the leader of that family. So the judgments that come from him will be respected. And we, the other judges, there's levels to this. We will make sure that he is judging properly and according to the law.
Right.
So you're not allowed to cuss him out. Ain't no cussing nobody out. Just be frank. All right? So there's no rap battles.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
There's no disrespectful talk. I know you're used to that. In America, it might be a common thing. But here, that is not the culture. That is not the way.
And that goes with the school of judgment, correct?
Right.
They must take that curriculum and go through that program.
Through that process in the program. We have a curriculum for the school of judgment. all leaders have to go through that. Different levels,
Yes.
but everybody has to go through that. So you cannot nor curse the raven. So I said you can't cuss them out.
Right,
So
right.
you can't cuss them either.
Right.
Who are appointed rulers among thy people. All right? So I touched on that last week. I'm reiterating it again because this is important. You can't cuss out your next door neighbor either.
Correct.
You can't, you know what I'm saying? There's you don't go about things that way. All right? There is a hefty fine that goes with having a disrespectful mouth. Right? So there is no freedom of speech here. You have freedom of expression.
Right.
You may express yourself, what has happened. You may express how you feel. You may also express what you saw. But expressing these things does not consist of being disrespectful.
Yes, yes, yes.
If you were angry, you're angry. If something almost happened and we need to have care or caution, that is a valid thing to say and it will be accepted validly.
Right.
If no damage, there is no damage.
Right, right.
Okay? We have a law which dictates damages and what restitution is. So you can't come over here and sue somebody for endangerment because something almost happened. That won't work here.
Right.
All right? And as you can see, the judges are appointed rulers. So when I said they're sheikhs, they are literal sheikhs. All right? Number 22 and verse 28. The first of thy fruits and the first of thy winepress thou shalt not delay to bring up in their time to the place of my habitation. All right. So this is the beginning of the agricultural law. All right. I'm going to give you a little backstory about how this begins. So in coming back and restarting the kingdom from a community and getting this administration going, everybody is coming in and we as a community have to buy land.
Yes, we do.
We have to. And we have to plant fruit trees and vegetables. We have to begin to grow our own produce to supply our own supermarket. Now, of course, we won't begin there. We will begin tapping into the markets that are already here and matching prices that are already here. However, we have to begin the process, and it will take a year to 4 years for what we can place inside the stores in the markets. So if you plant a fruit tree, it takes 4 years, and then the first year of fruits, those fruits have to be given entirely to the priesthood.
Yes.
So they get stored up for the priesthood. All right. Now, notice it says first of thy. So this has to be our own trees, our own fruits. Yes. We can't go to the supermarket.
I was just thinking that.
We cannot go to the supermarket and buy them and bring them.
Correct.
All right. You're only allowed to do that if you live in another country or you're very, very far away and you can't transport that much. So you buy it and then you give it. But even then, like I said, it still has to be brought from your brother because you know he grew it properly.
Correct.
He took the correct amount of time. So for a fruit tree, all the fruit will just grow and fall to the ground and rot for 4 years. Yes. So this will re-enrich the soil repeatedly, putting more nutrients from the fruit just falling down. But in the 4th year, the first fruit goes to the priesthood. Now, a lot of people think first fruits is the first ripe fruits on the tree.
No.
No, that's not what it is. After that first year, though, of those first fruits that were given, every year thereafter, you pick a tree, you count your trees. Say if you got 20, 2 trees, you just take all the fruit from those 2 trees, the best trees, the best looking ones or whatever, and you take all the fruit from those trees and you give that to the priesthood. That's a basic way of doing it. When you have a lot more, when you start getting into more and more dunams or acres, you're going to do it by the bushel. So you'll have all of these, we call them baths, but they're large baskets. And you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this one to the priest. You just give them the 10th one or the first one and then count to the 10. Give this to the priest, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This goes, to store up, and you do it that way. All right. We'll get more into that later because that's just the basic fundamental. So now it says, so this is supposed to bring up to the place of my habitation. So now it says to bring it up to the place of the Most High's habitation. I know some of y'all thinking about, we have to bring it to the holy mountain. No. Okay. The Most High inhabits the place where the prince is. Okay. So every king of the nation, right, of each tribe. So the king or the ruler over the house of Judah, the ruler over the 12 tribes. Did you know that there's 2? So there's one over the 12 tribes,
right.
One over just the house of Judah, and one over each tribe. So from their brethren, they're allowed to pick.
Yes.
And you can have, it's not so much of a pick, but because you can't vote.
Right.
But
you choose.
There will be a selection process from within that tribe.
Yes.
And the one that is selected to be the prince over that tribe, to rule over that tribal land and govern it, to be the head of its administration, will also sit on the king's council.
Yes.
So now the king's council, so the king of the 12 tribes, he has a member and members from each of the tribes' heads at his council table. Yes. That's the habitation. That's the place where the Most High dwells. But each prince will have a tabernacle at his house. Yes. So the prince's house and the tabernacle is a cohesive place. Right. It's together. You can get to the temple without going to the prince's house, but there is a temple there. Yes. Okay? The main temple. There'll be, smaller other little tabernacles and places to go, but every prince has the main temple in their land. Yes. I know some of y'all like, what is he talking about? Just take my word for it for now. Take this little drop. All right? I'm going to connect it later. Right? But I have to give you some context so I can proceed. Yes. The firstlings of thy males thou shalt separate before me. So the firstborns are separated. All right? Your firstborn sons, all firstborn sons are separate. Okay? They have a special appointment that is separate. Also, the firstborn males of your cattle. Cattle, yes, of your herds. Of your herds. Those are also separate and separated. All right? So shalt thou do with the firstlings of thy oxen and sheep. See that? So all of it is together. All right? And 7 days shall it be suckled by its mother, and on the 8th day thou shalt separate it before me. Yes, just like circumcision. So that's what it means when it says it has to be brought in and it has to be marked to be set apart. So if it's a male, we bring it in and it's circumcised and it is noted this firstborn son, and what is his name. Okay? That has to come in, and that is also that's brought into the administration.
Okay, so the name is given at this time for the child.
Right, on that day. So on that day, the name is given, there's a celebration, and it must be recorded by the administration.
Okay.
So this is why it says, bring it to the place of my habitation. The Most High abides, and he inhabits the place where his appointed leaders are. So you have to bring that child in. That child has to be the firstborn son.
Yes.
Has to be recorded. This firstborn son has a mandatory life path that he must do, barring any, health issues.
Right.
So if he has certain health issues, he won't be able to do certain things. So that bars him. Then there'll be a chosen son to take the path in his place. Okay. All right. So if you have a son and he have some health issues, he won't take the firstborn path.
Yes. Yes.
Right. The second son. If the second son have health issues, well, maybe the third son.
Yes.
By the third son, we really starting to look around like, hey, something is going on.
Yes, something ain't right. Yes.
That all your kids is defective. Okay? So we can look into that. All right? So shall be separated. And holy men tasting unconsecrated things innocently shall you be before me. So there is consecrated things, which is set apart things, right? So, and then there's things that are not set apart. Yes. So pheasant is not sacred.
Right.
So you talk about chicken. It's not a consecrated thing, right? Did you know they had pheasant during the Exodus?
Yes.
The Most High provided them pheasant. They had pheasant one time a day. Every day they had a pheasant.
Yes, yes. Because, now you have a lot of people posting, oh, we're not supposed to eat chicken. We're not supposed to eat turkey. It's unclean.
Chicken is a pheasant. It's in the pheasant family.
Yes, it is.
It's a pheasant.
Yes,
that's another thing is the reclassifications of animals by the understanding, the ancient understanding, is something that we're going to have to get used to.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So people be like, there's no such thing as dragons. Dragons are lizards.
Right.
Right? Reptiles is insects. We'll get to this a little later. I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but I'm just trying to give you some understanding. Like, we're going to have to reclassify some definitions according to the book.
Yes.
So you have been told definitions, and a lot of you may refer to Webster's. You can't refer to Webster's when dealing with the text. The text is going to define itself. That's the difference between the Aramaic and every other.
Correct.
Every other version. These are perversions. But a Targum is not a version. It is a direct translation from antiquity.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So, and then it says, but flesh torn by wild beasts, alive you may not eat. But throw it to the dogs as his portion. So if your flock is attacked by a wild animal, and whether it was killed by the wild animal or is still yet alive, it's not to be eaten.
Correct.
Okay? When that animal dies, succumbs to his injuries, right, from the wild beast attack, that's dog food. Okay? That's dog food. Now, you can accept it or reject it. I really don't care. This is what we do in here.
Yes.
If you don't like this, don't come here.
Exactly.
I can't deal. I'm not. This don't change for us. Which is the beautiful part in starting this is because I get to say repeatedly over and over again, this is the laws we live by here. It don't change. It won't change. I've read it before. Right? And I'm reading it again now before you come.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Sons of Israel, my people, take not up lying words from a man who accuses his neighbor before thee. All right, this is important. So if somebody comes and says something against your neighbor and there is an issue, we don't jump in and agree or disagree. You hear what's being said, you don't have a dog in this fight. All right? Even if you suspect something, you back off because you need to know what the ins and outs are. All right? Nor put thy hand with the wicked to become a false witness. So if somebody says so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so did this to me and you didn't witness it or you don't know about the situation, don't join in with this. Don't join in out of fear because somebody said, well, if they do this and they get this, it's going to be bad for us. Don't do it. Now, I know some of you going to do it. You will be dealt with severely according to this law.
Yes.
All right? So all of the stories and the shade room and all of that stuff that you see going on in World Star, I'll tell you right now, it's not here. Just letting you know, this is the facts. Sons of Israel, my people, you shall not go after the many to do evil, but to do good, and no one among you shall restrain himself. Hold on. It's like I read that. I felt like I read that fast. Sons of Israel, my people, you shall not go after the many. You shall not join in a group of people to do evil. No gangs.
Yes.
No cartels.
Yes.
Nothing. We are one family unit here. One family unit that consists of many families. So don't join in anybody or make any groups or cliques to do something evil. Instead, join in the family to do something good. So how I'm inviting you to join the community is because we're going to do something good.
Yes.
We're building something. Okay? See, so don't do evil, but to do good.
Yes.
And no one among you shall restrain himself. Okay, so nobody will restrain themselves from affirming justly according his neighbor in the judgment. So when we line out the facts and we say, and we read what the law is, and we see that it is the same issues and how the judgment fall, everyone is to agree with this law.
Yes. Yes.
What?
No feelings.
No feelings.
Yes. No
So
feelings.
the law says this is what we're doing in this case. You've admitted it. We've looked at the evidence and it shows what you did.
Yes.
There will be no changing of what the punishment for the crime is for this law. This person got this law and they deserve it because they was wrong.
Yes.
They knew the rules. They wasn't supposed to do that.
Yes.
And then you'll see, even in judgment, the judgment is not rapid. That's another thing. We're going to get to that because we talked about our school of judgment. The judgment is not rapid.
No,
there is a process. So we know people are coming and they don't know. So there's a time frame and there's a process about where you need to be and what stage of judgment. Okay? Some things are immediate and other things take a little more time to measure out. All right? So I just want you to know, like, when it comes to this judgment, you have to be in agreement with this. All those who disagree with this is going to have a problem.
Yes.
So if you say, behold, the judgment sides with the many, meaning we voted and we agree There's 300 of us, and we agree that this is supposed to be this way.
Yes.
That 300 that votes against this law, out.
Yes.
I'm going to just tell you right now. You disagree with this law, there's a door.
Yes. Yes.
Contribution, no this, no that. And I'm just telling you, right? Because when you get here, this law is already accepted by the courts here.
Yes.
It was submitted years before you came into being.
Right.
So I just want you to know the Sharia court here has already accepted this law. As a matter of fact, most people don't know it's accepted here.
Yes.
It's accepted in Israel. It's accepted in Egypt. And it's accepted in Saudi.
Yes. Yes.
It's accepted throughout the entirety of all Arab nations.
Yes.
It was submitted by me 4 years ago. This law.
But many don't even know where the Sharia law comes from.
Well, all Sharia law, right? All the Sharia law, the entire Sharia court, what we call the Bedouin court, was actually started by Isaac. It was Isaac who began this practice. And Isaac started and was accredited for the Bedouin court. He is the head of the Sharia court. The Sharia court has been in existence since Isaac. Okay, so he's the one in charge of how we do our cultural judgments in the Bedouin court. So, by me resubmitting our law that we have sworn to abide by from our God, this now goes all the way back to Isaac. Okay, so now this is the law of Moses, which Moses implemented and judged the people. And Moses learned from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all the others, because he was from the seed line, and he learned as it passed down through the generations.
Yes.
Then we have now, after 400 years of American captivity, we have resubmitted this law and sworn that we will abide by it if permitted to return back. Now, here we are today.
Yes.
Right? 4 years later, first fruits. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You know what I'm saying? So it's good, and we here, and we starting.
Yes.
You joined us.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So no one among you, you shall not say that the judgment sides with the many, so with a group. The judgment sides with the law.
Yes.
Not the group.
Right.
All right? And another thing, just so people don't get anything confused, while the law is agreed upon with the Sharia court, right? I want people to understand that when the judge makes a judgment, there's nowhere to run to. Exactly. There's nowhere to go. Exactly. Once the judgment is pronounced from the administration, that will be all. Yes. Yes. You can run to whoever, I promise, no good will come of it. Exactly. You understand? So don't get yourself exiled trying to change the rules. We side with the rules because we've already agreed to that and come into this community. So breaking our own rules is not going to happen, at least not on my watch. Yes. So there ain't no elections here. That's another, I said it before. Right. There's no voting. Right. All right? And to the poor man who is guilty, thou shalt not be partial in having compassion upon him. Okay? So for the person who has wealth, who can bribe many people to join in with him, or many people want to listen to him because he's rich, or to the poor man because he's poor, nobody will receive any favoritism or partiality in the judgment. Yes. Nobody. Not one. All right? And this is not, you don't campaign or jockey for a position here. It is based upon your adherence to the law. And in adhering to the law, you're going to come in, you're going to do your studies, you're going to do your work, right? Because it's more than just studies. People think it's just reading. It ain't reading. You're going to have to literally put your hand to the work. You're going to have to contribute to the building of the community, right? Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to work in the field. I work in the field. You're going to have to shepherd sheep. I shepherd sheep. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to repair or build buildings. You're going to have to get
your hands dirty.
Right? Even while we are even doing some paperwork things, like, managing a supermarket, right? No matter what the work is, everybody is contributing in some way to it. Mm-hmm. So to be a field manager, you're going to have to know everything that's got to be in the field. You just can't be a
field manager. Yes.
So also, since there's no respect of persons, people don't know, but, the United Filth of America, they have lobbyists.
Yes, they do.
And this is where the rich corporations go and pay to have the rules changed so they can make a profit off of something that is illegal.
Right.
So a poor man goes to jail. If he went to jail, he's probably, in there for a lifetime because 3 strikes laws, and he was selling weed. Now selling weed is legal.
Right.
They didn't release all of them.
Exactly.
You see, they didn't release them. So you have to understand that we don't have that here. Mm-hmm. And it's not okay that you are suffering that in America. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be our time for today.
Yes.
We're going to move on and get to our podcast. Check out our link tree below. Make sure that you guys are contributing because we have to buy this land. Mm-hmm. We have to build these buildings, and every little bit count. If you can do $5, $10, whatever you can do for a month, your contribution matters. Even if you're not coming and you just saying, you know what? If I could just help y'all build it and somebody else come, then I'm doing this because we're not doing this for anybody else.
Right.
We're not doing this for all peoples. I'm going to say that. We're doing this for our people.
Yes.
We're doing this for our sons and for our daughters that may not be here for a couple of years. Yes. Right? They may not arrive for a few years, but it still needs to be built for them and prepared for them when they come. Mm-hmm. So your contribution is going to our people. It is not going to everybody else.
Right. And, those of you that be on social media and we share, you need to come out. And many of you may say or ask, well, where do we go? We are extending an opportunity for you to have a place to come. So you really don't have much of an excuse. As my teacher always share, if you're not able to do the small thing first, the big stuff you're trying to do it really doesn't matter, So many of you are like, oh, well, I want to learn the Sabbath. I want to learn the feast day. Let's start with the small thing first. Come out. That's the first instruction.
Right. Let's first learn our laws.
Yes.
And let's learn our customs.
Yes.
From the law and the customs, we will have to grow from nothing. Yes. We have to come back. We have to get some land. You're not going to take land by war, and nobody's coming out to the sky to get and make war and take the land. There's nothing coming from you. Okay? If you don't get up and build it yourself, it's not happening. If you believe somebody's going to build it for you, you're under a bit of a delusion. Yes. Okay? Because they're not building it for you and you ain't paying them.
Right.
Okay? Right. So, you're You can have houses that you did not build. You sent the money for it, and the people built it for you.
Right.
Okay? If you're one of those Bible scholars, you may have come across a verse which the Most High swore to the stones of the earth that we would live in them. Well, we building stone palaces here. These buildings are beautiful, and they're all encased in stone. Okay? Yes, there's brick inside. Yes, there's rebar and everything else. Multiple floors, but the building is wrapped in natural stone from the ground. So we're doing things according to the instructions, literally.
Yes.
So if you won't contribute to getting yourself back to where you have your own flocks, if you won't contribute to having land to grow your own crops, you will never be able to fulfill any of the Shabbat ordinances or the perpetuals. Because before you can get to Shabbat, you still got to get through the first 6 days. All right? So if you don't do day 1 right, there's no way for you to be right on day 7.
Yes.
So you have to build up to have day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 correct, so that you can rest on day 7. So the work of getting right on those days has to be achieved first.
Yes.
So this is what I mean by the small steps. You're going to get into the Shabbat. We're going to get into the feast days and how they're kept. But on the process, the first thing, you notice I'm reading the law, and the first thing the law starts to address is the Most High wants the first of what is yours.
Yes.
And if you don't buy it over here, if we don't develop it and grow it ourselves over here, it's not ours. I can't go to the supermarket and take from somebody else's field and offer to the Most High on my own behalf. That's not going to work. Correct. And we won't have nothing. We cannot have nothing on an individual level.
Yes, yeah.
So there's no individual lifestyle here. Everybody you will see when you get here, you see family names on top of buildings. Right. Family names attached to the building, right? So I'm looking, and you will look at a building, and it'll have, this is the Muhammad building. This is the Shafra building. This is the family that built that building, and some are living in there, but they're renting out, and it's generating income for the family. So this same plan was given to us and engineered for us to be able to save some of you. Yes. If not all. Because the capacity, we could take you all, just you all don't want to come. But for those who don't want to come, or for those who can't come, think about the future of our people, because our people are getting ready to head to a war.
Yes, they are.
So think about that, So we want our people to survive, and we want the children to have a future, because there is an after this. Yes, it is. Check out our link tree. Check out our podcast. Please donate. Yes. Right? For the sake of our people's future, donate. Yes. This is the only project in the world like it, where we are rebuilding ourselves and governing ourselves. Not just as some community or religious group, but as a nation, as a state, as a kingdom. Yes. I'll see you all. See you.